Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Whoever's wondering where we're at with these purple walls, we're at NRG.
It's
getting warm in here. Jesus.
NRG.
It's gonna
Las
be the
Vegas.
pillows and
What up, Shelby?
the single malted scotch.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Hey,
Yeah, we're
brother,
good.
what's up?
Fuck this place.
Ready? 1, 2. Yeah, we're going old school with the Polaroids over
All
here.
right. So if you guys have any questions or want to bullshit, let us know. We already have a few questions from our DMs. So
Ready to hit them up?
yeah, dude. So hit us with some of those questions.
All right. So one of the first questions here for you firearms guys is if you had to choose one optic for a rifle or one for a pistol go-to, like what would your go-to rifle optic be, and what would your go-to pistol optic be, and why?
We're going to start on that, so then just move this.
We're going to start with Luis.
I would just pick the aim point T2.
You like the aim point?
Yeah, the aim point.
For both?
Which one?
Pistol and carbine.
This is for the rifle, for the
actually,
carbine.
yeah, that freaking new Acro P2 for the handgun is fucking sexy.
Yeah?
Super
Yeah.
sexy.
You like
But
that?
I wanna try
the
that
reason
one
for the
out.
rifle, it's just the reliability. It's just I've seen so many EO techs take shit.
Really?
So many.
Yeah. Okay.
So many.
Also, L3 had that huge recall.
Yeah.
a few
Yeah,
years
and
back.
I know they fixed most of it.
Yeah.
But they're just unreliable in my opinion and my
Okay.
experience.
It's just hard to come back from that type of like
Yeah.
I hear
That's
thousands
interesting.
of EOTechs.
But that was before the EXPS3, right?
Right.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was. It was.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It
That's
was.
fine.
It was before.
But yeah, I've had my aim point. Fuck. Have you seen my gun? Like the thing's beat up.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
runs.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like, and my aim point's been on there, and it has never lost zero.
I
never
totally appreciate that.
Anything.
I mean, like when you got that kind of reliability and you just
Yeah.
know like that dog's with you,
And-
Yep.
that dog's gonna hunt every single
Yep.
time.
And you
like-
guys
Yep.
now see like the transitions when you don't have a sling.
right?
I mean, we have dropped our guns on those.
I am
T2s
not-
hundreds.
I'm
of
gonna
times in
yeah,
the
I'm gonna be
rocks.
honest. I'm gonna be honest. Like that's the first time I've like moved into some of that stuff where you're dropping that gun on the ground. Like you just, I haven't trained like that without a sling. Like you just don't
right.
go onto the range without. It's like going on the range without a holster, right?
Exactly.
So taking that thing off and talking through the
A
situation.
lot of people don't want to do that because they have $30,000 on their fucking super cool high up race gun.
I
Call
felt
of
bad
Duty.
for setting
Shit.
down the one I borrowed today.
Yeah.
Paul drops his shit all the time.
Okay, cool. So I was like, this thing's, like, brand new.
Paul trains his guns just like anybody else.
Okay.
Paul
Yeah,
will
man.
fucking run those guns, and all those parts that Paul have are reliable for that reason.
Yeah.
So aim point and that new Acro P2, that'd be my handgun.
like
choice.
that.
What about you,
Yeah.
B-Dub?
I haven't had any hands-on with it. I've shot it a couple times, but that thing is just from
Yeah.
what I know about red dots, that thing is fucking nice.
For the
Silky
record,
smooth.
now, and I'll set it straight. Both of these guys did not get on the red dot train for handguns for years, and this
I
was
was.
more like indoctrinated shit. And then they finally saw the light, and they go, "What the fuck were we doing?" And thinking,
Yeah,
like, the
I had
future
a
is
had a
now,
red dot
man.
when they first came out. I had the RMR, the one with the little. I don't think they make it anymore. It's like the fucking solar.
No, they make them still.
They do.
They're out.
I
Yeah,
don't
they're
even
still
know.
By
out.
what company?
The Trijicon.
Oh.
The
And
Trijicon one?
I had that
Yeah, the
a
green one.
long time ago. I'm talking about like 8 years ago, maybe. I don't even probably 6 years ago ish, 6-7 years ago, and then I got LASIK eye surgery,
Okay.
and then I was able to see. I had a weird vision thing that I couldn't focus when I was shooting, and then I got LASIK, and I'm like Superman. I
Changed
could
your world?
Yeah, dude, changed my world. So I didn't really need the red dot anymore as a handicap, I guess you
Hand
could
me
say.
my fanny pack that's over there.
But
I'm gonna show
now
something.
it's just the new way of life. Like I got to jump on board. I'm old school. I have iron sights, but I've shot plenty with Jerry's and other people's, and I dig it. Super
Yeah.
fast, super fucking accurate.
It is
know.
really hard to argue either of those two things, fast and accurate.
Yep.
Like, and who doesn't want to be
Fast
more
and
of both
accurate.
of those things, right?
100%.
Yeah, I feel you.
And kind of one of the transition points for me mentally was when someone said to me verbally out loud. And when I say it out loud, everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god, that makes so much sense." What's faster in a carbine, a red dot or iron sights?
Dude, I just shot with irons last week. And
Right?
I was on a carbine, and I was like, fuck.
There's a lot of things that have to happen in processing there, right? Yeah.
Right. So, but we're running iron sights with pistols because we don't want to accept change, or adopt like
Really good question.
that's what mentally changed my mindset to okay, cool, I got it. And then I tried a bunch and I was like, yep, I'm in.
We talked about earlier today looking through a soda straw, and
Right.
looking through iron sights on a carbine is pretty much the same.
And you get that
You
rear.
almost go cross-eyed.
You
right?
almost go cross-eyed, my friend.
Yeah.
So my opinions is short and sweet because I'm going to agree with Luis 100%. I've ran EOTech for a while and I've ran Aimpoint for longer, and same thing. I have so many examples and so many years and so many reps of Aimpoint just being a workhorse. That being said, if you want to save some money, the difference between the T series, T1 and 2 micro, and H1 and 2, T is for tactical. It dims down low enough to be compatible with night vision. But if you don't own night vision, you want to save some money, get the H model, which stands for hunting, and it doesn't dim that low, and you'll also save money. It's a little cheaper because it's not the tactical model, right? So, so
thing.
if you
But it's
just,
the same
it's the
exact
same
thing.
exact thing. It just doesn't dim low as the T series. So
That's
T1
interesting.
it-
That's interesting that that's
a
the
marketing
thing.
a marketing thing. You
That's
know
the
what I mean?
thing. Like, why can't it? That they literally don't let it dim lower. It'd be one thing if it didn't get brighter.
I think it's more than just
Right.
the dimness. I think the glass itself is tinted differently. Don't quote me though. I have to look at the exact
There's not much
specifications, but it's
difference,
very, very minimal, the difference between the H and the T series.
The
But-
batteries too.
it might be that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So for
I'll
me, I
find
have a
out.
little bit more experience with red dots, both on carbine and handgun. I've been running handgun red dots now for, God, pretty much all my law enforcement career. I started off with RMRs, and then I kind of saw. Well, the reason I started with RMR is when you think of red dots 10 years ago, that was like Trijicon was like the pinnacle, right? Like that's what military uses. That's
Right.
what soft units use. That's that's the thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me go spend $700 on a red dot, and come to find out that there's other stuff out there that works almost as well. So I saw the light and I started getting more and asking a lot of questions, and I found this little company. You might have heard of them. They're called Loophole.
Yeah.
And I ended up picking up a Delta Point Pro. Nick actually sent me one. Nick is the I don't remember his official title, but I want to say he's like director of marketing or something. Thank you, Nick, by the way. Nick sent me a Delta Point, and this has been my duty red dot on my handgun for probably 5-6 years now. It has beat the hell up.
Same one you got, the original.
The one on my dick right now
Right.
is my Delta Point Pro,
Gotcha.
the original one.
I will say that the window is like a lot nicer than the RMR.
So on that, biggest reason why I went from RMR to the Delta Point Pro is for me the field of view is, to me, it's more superior. It's a natural circle. The glass tint is pretty much clear. If you look at a lot of RMRs, they have that green film kind of look to them, and to me it threw me off.
It's almost like a uridium kind of look on it. Yeah.
It just looks off. It doesn't look correct to me. So that threw me off. So with the Delta Point Pro, it's a little bit more clear. Another pro for me is the replacement on the battery for the Delta Point Pro is external. All you have to do is pop it on the left side. It opens up like a little manhole, and you replace the battery.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't come with its shortcomings, obviously. The batch that I got, for some reason, I want to say it's the same lot or batch that was left out in some kind of airfield, and shit got warped on the inside, and the contacts got all fucked up. So I did have to send my Delta Point Pro back at
For
one
service
point
or something?
for service, and they fixed it. But I've had some issues with the red dot turning on and off occasionally.
Yeah.
It since has been working flawlessly, but I think I'm ready to replace my red dot on my handgun for what Luis was talking about, which is the acro. This last SHOT Show we went to go shoot it, dude. Oh my god, bro! It just
Yeah, SHOT
close
Show
emitter,
kinda
open
made me-
emitter. For me, it kind of makes a difference. I have to constantly remove my gun every day before shift and clean off the open emitter area because I have lint in my fucking tight whities, I guess, or something.
It finds its way in funny places, doesn't it?
Funny places. So with the closed emitter, and you would think, oh, it's big, it's bulk. It's not that big of a footprint, dude. It really isn't. Like if my skinny ass or fat ass actually can conceal a red dot, a full duty almost handgun with a acro, pretty much anybody. I mean, not an acro, yeah, an acro, pretty much anybody can. So to me, I think I'm going to start. We've all agreed that we're going to buy a closed emitter acro, the P2 for duty use more than likely, but for everyday.
And I
use.
know what everybody's thinking hearing this. Oh my God, it's so expensive.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what's expensive?
What's the
dude?
price on it?
Yeah.
It's like 600.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my thing was I went into SHOT Show thinking, okay, I love EOTech. I'm gonna try out their new optic, and I talked to like the rep, and I'm really big on like American made stuff, and from what I heard, they like changed some stuff with manufacturing, and supposedly that's like out of country now, and that's how they got the price point on it.
So what's manufactured out of country though? Like
On-
the components, the glass, the housing.
I forgot what he said, honestly. I mean, I'll have to look it up, but
I can't tell you where Aimpoint makes their stuff.
but
I have no idea.
I don't know
honestly.
exactly, but I feel like I looked up the T2, and that's like all American.
And we're not talking shit about EOTech. I mean, they
No,
they sent
no,
us
no,
their
no.
new- they sent us a set. They sent us their new, what is it?
The pistol.
Their pistol optic?
No,
No,
their new optic they have that replaced that fucked up
The
one.
G, no, the G.
Talking about the EXPS3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. They sent us that
And then
with
the
their
magnifier, too,
magnifier,
with
and
the-
we're
Yeah, the-
we're putting it through the paces.
I
we're
love
we're
it.
fucking
It's-
throwing it on. I have it on a rifle right now, and I have no cases for my rifles.
Everybody on my department runs that.
Fine, throw
setup.
shit out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing for me is like I wanted to try the Aimpoint because for rifles I actually went from EOTech to Aimpoint, and then now I've been kind of going back and forth to see like the EOTech's just so like open, like the window to where I feel like I can see everything around me, but I don't shoot as well as I do with the EOTech, or with the Aimpoint, and then the Aimpoint too, like I don't change the batteries like I do on the EOTech. Like I feel like the EOTech I'm changing batteries fairly often.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I
I'm
totally
gonna,
agree
I'm
with
gonna introduce something real quick. It's an older, red dot that came out.
Yeah, throw everything in the fucking trash.
No, I liked it. Nick, I liked it. Okay.
Nope. Fuck
So
it. Throw that
it's
thing in the
the
trash.
Delta
Hey,
Point
hand me a
Pro
trash can.
Micro, I think it is.
Okay.
And it basically it just
Trash.
attaches to the rear where the rear,
Rear
sight
sight
notches.
would go. Yeah.
Trash.
And no, shut the fuck up.
Talk about
Just because you can't shoot red dots
No,
or guns
so I have a
or
question.
iron sights doesn't mean it's trash. Okay?
Trash.
I shot through it. I like it. However, it does. You would think
talk about looking through a
a
straw,
yeah.
dude.
It-
Bro. Trash.
Yeah.
So
No.
so even with both eyes open, I'm not as far as Luis.
I had it on my gun for the last
I'm not
3
as
months.
far gone as
Trash.
Luis is with this, but I'm nowhere close to where Jerry's at. So it is so small to where it's like acquiring your irons all over again.
No,
It's-
here's-
it almost doesn't
no.
make
Look,
it quicker.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't even see the cylindrical portion of it. All
So
I
you
see is
trash
the
can.
red dot.
So-
all I see is the red dot. So,
So
look through it. Look
isn't
through
the idea with this though supposed to be an upgrade from irons, but
Correct.
not like a
but not.
But not- you
not
don't
a
mill
full
it.
window?
it. You don't. It's not a full window.
Okay.
You don't mill
Uh,
it. You just pop off your rear sight.
Basically it's an easy application, right?
That's one thing.
Yeah, but it's not worth it.
No,
It's
no,
so
no, no.
small.
You haven't put it
That's
through
what she
the
said.
head, through the ringer. So don't. Here's the thing. Don't. And I don't work for Loophole. Okay.
I do.
So
It's
don't look through the actual cylindrical.
Okay,
tube. Just look beyond it.
I
and
get you. I get you.
Superimpose the red dot on whatever you're looking at. You don't even see the outline of the circle too much. You really
Man,
don't.
but if you are not strict, I mean, if this is not coming into presentation almost perfect, and I'm trying to find the dot, right? So you said something out there on the range today, and it was like we were going through the 7 fundamentals, and we're talking about sight picture, right?
And sight alignment.
And sight acquisition, right? Or target
Set picture
acquisition.
side alignment. Yep.
Yeah, sight alignment.
same.
And you were combining that, and you're going, look, let's talk about site management or target
Yes.
site management.
Yes.
With this, I'm telling you right now, like if I'm trying to find the dot, like, and I know it's pointed in the right direction, the window is so small on here, I feel like that whole concept gets really, quote unquote, blurry.
Now let me put this to you: attach a light in the room, and then the washout.
And have that, because there's no adjustment.
no,
There's
is at
an
the bottom.
adjustment,
Is there?
but
Bottom.
the
bottom where you
washout on
replace
that
the
little
the
glass.
battery.
Think
Okay.
about that.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, if
Dude,
you
hold-
press that, it'll
let me see. I have
dim
a
and
flashlight. I'm
it's
gonna shine this light at you. Look at that dot.
Don't-
I'm not gonna
don't
shine
look-
it directly
like,
at you,
I don't know.
but I'm gonna shine it right there.
Yeah.
What's the price point
I
on that?
can't,
Like,
actually, I can't
lot
see
less.
it
stores?
Exactly.
at all.
for that one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't quote
So,
it.
At
if
least
I-
on-
so what
on
you're
the
saying
red
is
dot.
like,
Yeah,
so if you're
okay,
running a
so-
light or even a pistol light, a weapon mounted light, you're hitting something that's a wider
Okay.
background. It's flashing back at you.
The washout is
yeah,
insane.
the washout basically makes the dot disappear.
At least just because of that small window.
Let me ask you something. How much is some Trijicon suppressor height sights?
No more. I mean, a
For
good
the-
set
for the
probably like
duo,
120
maybe
bucks.
120 bucks.
120 bucks.
Yeah.
And then like a good like red dots starts at like 350 or 4, right? When we're
mean-
talking about your average like
I mean, you can get a hollow
whether
sun.
it's Holosun, but we don't know if they're gonna hit the red button on us. But yeah,
Just talk about that
Holosun because those are
China
good,
stuff.
right? And then like RMR and aim point and stuff. My point is that the way they explained it at Leopold, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, would I rather have that or irons? I'd rather have that. But would I rather have that or a Trijicon SRO? I'd rather have a Trijicon SRO.
How much is that in retail?
Like about 300, if not less.
Yeah, so it kind
Trash.
of makes
$100.
sense to me in
Trash.
terms of
He doesn't even
when you
shoot,
explain it
bro.
like that, like the price point and how slim it is, how slick it is. And,
I wish them
and
the best.
any other one, like if we're talking about the acro, like you have to get a slide for that or somebody to mill it. So that's cost on top of all that.
It's another, it's whatever.
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
get
pay.
I
But
100%
So the
get
modularity
the concept.
you're saying
I
is
get
Yeah,
it.
making up
it's-
for a
it's-
little
It's
bit.
very innovative. I'm very proud that we're in America and they
We're-
fucking
we're
made
pushing
that. Like
the
it's
envelope.
fucking awesome.
But you're saying it's going away.
I
It's not
love it.
sticking
It's
around.
just
Not
it's
necessarily.
not worth it in a gun that you're gonna potentially save your life with.
So what's the application, Gary? So you like the thing. So what's the application for you?
So no. So, okay. So first and foremost, hold on. Let me rewind. Okay.
I'm
because
so sorry. I
didn't even
don't hate
finish-
any of the companies.
I didn't even,
It's
I
just
didn't
a
even
trash
finish,
product.
You know what I look for in red dots and what I use.
See, told you guys not to put me on
Again,
this
I'm
fucking podcast.
Running
Fuck.
the full-on
Give 'em
Delta
one
Point
beer
Pro.
and
I'm
can't
probably going to
fucking-
change to the Acro P2.
Jesus, Brian.
What I look for in a red dot is a few things:
A red dot?
durability, simplicity. Price point doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'll save money if I have to buy something that's more expensive. But simplicity, durability, and a company that stands behind their product in the sense that if it goes down and I send it back to them, they'll replace it. So Loophole has that lifetime warranty. That's one of the things they have. So you could send one of their optics or red dots to them, and they'll either, as long as you didn't purposely slam it on the floor or hit it with your mallet, they'll replace it. If it stops working, they'll replace it or they'll fix it. So I look for those things. Those are the things that I look for. Simplicity being the biggest thing. Simplicity and durability. On my carbine, I've been rocking the T2 now for
Since
Dude,
we
since
bought it,
we've met.
since we
like,
met. The exact same one that's on my carbine right now is the
Same
one
here.
that I've been
Same one.
rocking.
Yeah.
Same
Same-
one.
same here,
I
same
have
you?
others. I have
we
others.
all
It's-
made an order. We all
That's right.
We
we
made
did a
like
group.
I ordered 9
Don't tell them how
aim
much.
points
Yeah.
at
Quiet.
they
Quiet.
gave us a very
Nothing, no,
they
they
added
didn't do-
50% on top
my
of
God,
what
shut
the
up.
price was.
So anyway, I've been rocking that one for forever.
Yeah, that's right. We all
And
got
I
one.
mean, I have other red dots for carbines. I have the LCO, which is a great optic. I have some of the EOTech stuff, but I just keep going back to the aim point. Now, recently we saw the duty aim point, the duty model.
Yeah.
I forget the full name of it.
RCO,
and
I
and
think
It's supposed to be cheaper, right?
it's
Yeah,
the
it's a little
price point is cheaper. It's
Same
pretty
durability,
durable. The
yeah.
housing is pretty good. It's meant for like the like the everyday consumer. It's not meant for like.
It's meant for that police officer that doesn't want to spend a lot of money but wants to have something better
Or
than
just,
that.
the department just approved the
Just
things
approved
and
it,
they don't really
exactly.
know. But
And
they-
it's great.
They want
I
one
saw
or
it
need
and
one.
I see no difference.
You can strap one right on.
Really
and
isn't.
you're good to go.
The aesthetics maybe looks a little different. It looks a
Yeah.
little bit like cheaper looking, but I don't give a shit, dude. I
Well,
chuck
the-
my
yeah.
rifles on the ground
Yeah,
anyways.
the reality is that duty rifle, how often does it actually come out
Yeah.
ever? And,
So
qualified.
that's kind of what I look for
We have one.
in red dots for handgun and in carbine. Now you were asking me about this.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah, what's the application for that for you, man?
Well, I have yet to test it out fully. I think that I have a few handgun, a few Glocks that I don't have any red dots on. I think that's my application for it. Is instead of shooting iron sights, I'm just going to drop something easy like this.
Okay, cool.
This is
so
it's
it's
so
a range.
simple.
It's a fun deal you can take out to the range.
Not necessarily fun. It's just I have other Glocks and I go, I want red dots, but I don't want to spend
Spend
another $700 on a
$700.
But that
red dot.
works with the front sight post, right?
It does, yeah.
Irons.
Yeah. But here's the thing: you don't have to. They don't. The red dot doesn't have to line. It doesn't have to co-witness with it. It
No, I'm
doesn't,
just
'cause
saying
you
if the
zero
dot
the
went
cipher.
out.
Yeah. If the dot. Oh, that's a good question. I don't
Yeah.
know, because you don't.
But what's
have
the
a rear
question?
notch.
So
what's the
my
question,
thought
JP?
was if this replaces the rear sight, right?
The rear
then
notch,
if,
yeah.
if the dot goes
Goes
out,
out.
then can you still use that?
That's
Like,
it.
because there is irons like that.
So
that are
so
like
I will,
can.
if I may.
what, dude? What?
I'm just saying, you have no rear sight, which you don't really need for point shooting, which most of us here do.
Yeah, clear.
It's clear.
Clear.
You gotta talk into it.
Okay, so my Delta Point Pro, I had it milled, and I added the extension rear notch that they sell. But I had to add that after. It was either that or mill it in the front and add the rear
and
sight in
add
front
it
of the
in
red
front,
dot. Yeah.
yeah.
So I didn't. I opted out for what they sell. What they sell, and it's co-witnessed with my front suppressor sights. We raised it and it's zeroed. So that's what I had to do with mine.
So there was extra work on top of the work that you already had done, is what you're saying. And you're going deeper into your pocket to make it all work out.
I've probably spent aftermarket on this gun a lot of money, more than what the gun initially cost me, 100%. Let's think about it. I have a Cogworks.
Everybody right now walking in frame is Chris Upshaw.
I have a
Man, the
Cogworks,
miss.
a heightened.
Yeah, I run the same on my
Yeah.
17. Yeah.
The
I love
slide
it,
stop
actually.
lever. I had it stippled by, by.
Come on.
Fuck, I forget.
Some
Anyway,
dude in California.
Some dude in California. Yeah,
He's actually
sorry,
really
sorry,
good.
Chris. I'll throw you a bone in a minute. I have a flat trigger, from.
Apex.
No, it's
No,
not
that's not
Apex.
Apex.
No, it's not Apex. It's who do we use? We used to use a lot.
I'm gonna walk away before I say something mean about you.
Yeah. I have an Agency Arms barrel. I have the Delta Point Pro. I had it milled. I have a Zev flared out magwell, the tactical series. So I've had a lot of fucking work done on this gun. And everything that I've had done.
Still doesn't add up to what you had to put into that optic and the mounting system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that begs a lot of questions, man.
No, like, look, dude. I think that when I seen this, what is it called? The Leopold,
This one's the Delta Point Micro.
the Micro.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, I actually thought it was a joke. Like when I first seen it, but after like getting the explanation and like looking through it, I think I get it.
2 pizzas.
Yeah. So
That's a huge pizza,
pizzas?
dude.
So let's. I assume we have a bunch of other
Grant
questions.
Yeah,
Defense, I'm
Let's
sorry.
get back on track.
Grant Defense Trigger, I'm sorry.
So I think we beat that horse. Did you guys have anything to add over there? on the
so I wanted to
casting
try
couch
out
number 2.
the casting couch. I wanted to try the aim point acro, so I'm kind of glad that you guys are moving, so I can kind of get some feedback from you guys because I really
Yeah.
wanted to try that.
Okay.
I currently run the SRO and the RMR because I've beat the shit out of my RMR and
Both
it just
proven.
lives.
Yeah.
But like things like the Delta Point and was it Delta Point Pro and the SRO, the window is just way better than the RMR in my opinion. So I've been kind of like looking at other things like that, like aim point acro. Maybe not the window is not going to be like a lot better than the RMR, but it's closed emitter and I want to see what that's about. Even though, I don't really know, my RMR is just fine.
And not to go back to carbine, but I prefer the size of the EOTech window to the T2.
I agree.
No, exactly right.
Yeah.
But you want the aim point over the.
But it's everything else. It's because
Yeah.
the EOTech does have a larger footprint on the Picatinny rail.
True.
You know what I mean?
And you
And
got to lift it up.
And it's
so you
gotta
got to put something like a Unity.
It's got to be higher,
mount on
and
it.
so I'm not saying I want the T2 to have a larger window, but they could probably go a little bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm still happy with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, talking about like the window.
No, I think the
size,
EOTech, you feel
clarity.
great with your window, but then like I always shoot better and my aim point's bulletproof.
I thought you were an ACOG guy.
ACOG? No. What the fuck? All right,
What's
Scott.
what's
All
the
right,
next
now,
question?
I mean,
Well, he's still. Scott's
let's move on to
answer.
the next thing. So let's get to the next question. So let's talk like dynamic movement and dynamic shooting. So the question is like reloads on the move, what and why, right? So versus, I think what the question really is like, hey, do I reload while I'm moving, right? Or am I reloading standing still to make sure I get that reload done, right, and correct before I move into cover, my next position, whatever
So the
else.
fact that we just did this,
Yep.
I'm gonna let you guys answer that.
Look, I think I think it's a matter of proficiency, and it's dependent on your level, right, of proficiency. So if you can do both, then do both. But it's also situational, right? So like if I've got a threat that's in front of me, and it just makes sense for me to get cover to reload before I make my next movement, or I've got somebody laying down suppressive fire, or I'm laying down suppressive fire, like. Am I moving, shooting, and reloading all at the same time, or am I pausing to gather myself, understand things? I think it's all situational. But I think the basis of the question is like, do I make sure that I get my reloads done before that I move, or can I do them on the move? And I
Got
think that's based on the shooter and it's based on the situation. So I think it's a hard question
Yeah,
to
so,
answer.
so that in its entirety is based on the situation. Train it all, though, right? I mean, and when you guys did it today, it was obviously possible. You guys both
for
did
sure.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't see really any hiccups.
Well, we've trained it.
There you go. There you go. So whether you anticipate to get in that situation or not, and we talked about this today on the range, is just train it. Just train it, because Murphy is
Right.
lurking over everyone's
Yeah.
shoulder every second of every day, and every time he picks me for some reason. But like fuck that guy. Whoever, I don't know if there's any Murphys here, but so Murphy's law, right? Like, so just train what possibly could go wrong, and you'll be that much more proficient when that scenario comes up.
Right. Good answer.
My,
Anybody
my,
else wanna
my
weigh
biggest
in?
thing is also situational dependent, but what does a bad guy want you to do?
He wants you to stand still or reappear in the exact same spot that you were at
Nailed
the
it.
last
So
time he saw
why
you.
do if I can move efficiently and reload my gun
Just
and
makes
be
it harder,
ready to
right?
wherever I'm going? Why? I can chew gum and walk. Why can I not reload and move?
Well, I think that's the question, right? Like, because if you can't do it, you should be able to do it. And you
So
need to
that's
start
why you
training
train it.
You need to
You
train it.
go slow, medium, fast. You crawl, walk, run to get to that efficiency that where you can just move from A to B and be proficiently with reloading.
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting concept, right? Because you see a lot of things out on the range, go to a lot of workshops, a lot of courses, whatever else, and you see people like pushing to the end. They want to do all the sexy shit, right? They want to do all the real sexy shit right now for whatever the reasons are, whether it's the instructor that needs, to book another class or needs that content to put on Instagram to book the next class or whatever else. I think the question is where do you start with all this stuff, and when do you start as an instructor? Because that's what you guys do. You're out there on the range with people all the time. Some of the things that you do. When do you start training things like that? When do you start escalating the moving and reloading, right? Versus when's the right time? When to and when not to in training, right?
So-
Not necessarily in that situation,
Right.
but in training.
So for me, my biggest thing is, and Luis already covered it right now. I like to layer my training. I add layers to everything. So I'll start off extremely basic. We're doing X, and that's it. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's get a few reps. Make sure that everybody's proficient with it, or at least grasps the concept of how to do X thing that we're doing. From there, I go, okay, can you do the same thing while kneeling? Can you do the same thing while moving forward? Can you, and this is not a tactic, this is just, can you do it while
These are
moving forward?
fundamentals.
These are fundamentals.
Right.
And you're just adding more things to it. And then I get to the point where I go, okay, or the person that I'm teaching or the group that I'm teaching has become proficient with said skill, and the skill is, we're talking about reloads, so let's just say reloads. I like to teach reloads initially as a skill by itself, still.
Right, because
I
why
want you to-
layer on complexity?
Not
Right.
yet. Like there's a
Yeah.
time and a place for all that. There's a time and a place. And we're talking about training. We're not talking about real life stuff right now. I'll get to the real life stuff. We're talking about just a singular skill, and a reload is a singular skill. Can you reload the gun? Okay, cool. You can. All right, cool. Let's start adding layers of complexity to it. What are they? I was having you guys do them today.
Right.
All right, turn around. Identify the target. Then do it. Okay, cool. Now go down. Okay, now move to the left and move to the right. Okay, can you do it while you're moving? Can you do it while you're going backwards? And some of these are tactics. Some of these are not. Some of these are just, are you going to be able to chew bubble gum and walk at the same
Yeah,
time?
you're sort of adding variables or adding
So-
stress levels on top of the
And some of them
fundamental.
are, yeah, some of them are stress levels, and some of them are just simple, hey, run that way and do it. Hell,
So
can you do it?
I think the question you first asked is when in a course do we do it? It's
Yes.
after all the fundamentals and the basic training, the students have shown proficiency in it, and then that's when we can add layers to that onion. So we sometimes won't even cover any movement, and it'll be all stationary.
Like we
No.
never we never run the same exact course twice.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
because it
can,
all
can you
depends.
expand on that? Because I think this is so important. The reasons, like, what you just said there was you'll never see the exact same course 2 times. It's not that it's not the same curriculum. It's that you're handling the situation that's in front of you,
Exactly.
the group of people differently. Can you expand on that?
They'll
and, like,
all go ahead, man.
So
One thing, you guys take it away. So we just like any social situation, we just read the vibe. So like you've heard the vibe of the room was X, or the vibe of the room was that, or oh, that meeting went well, but I had this weird feeling, this or that. That's kind of similar to, I mean, it's a social event first and foremost. You're getting a bunch of people together to talk and do things. So we just read the class in terms of skill level, proficiency level, and where we think we can get them to without anyone violating any safety issues.
So that's a great. Sorry, go ahead.
no,
Gary.
you're good. So a few things are, for me, are predicated to how far we can get in the course. So yes, we have a baseline on what we're going to teach. We're going to teach Handgun Fundamental 1. Okay, cool. We already know what Handgun Fundamental 1 is. It's from A to B, and there's a bunch of different things that we could cover. Handgun Fundamental 1 can last hours upon hours, or it could just be a short period of time depending on a few factors. One is the bandwidth of the student. Are they grasping the knowledge that we're throwing out and actually retaining it, and they're continuing forward with it, or are they regressing back to, oh fuck, I don't know what to do. I can't even do a basic fucking reload. Okay, cool. If they can't, then we might have to taper down the class based off of the students. And if we have students that are just really, really bad, and it's taking up instructors to be with them specifically, maybe the course is going to be low. It's going to be we're going to have to
You
taper it
dial it
down,
back
dial
a
it
little
back
bit,
down.
yeah.
So it's back to knowing your crowd. Are they understanding it? The time of the day, the time of the year. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? Is it daytime? We're losing daylight. So there's a million factors that you could factor in. But we do, yes, 100%. We have a baseline curriculum, but it's never going to be the same because it all depends on, and you saw this, you were at our course, and we had a million things that we were going to cover, but we didn't get to them because limitations of the range. We had to, there was a student instructor that we had to get on you guys, where you had to get behind a student and then give them
Yeah, just break it up into ones and twos.
ones and twos
Limitations.
because of the limitations of the range, or because it's unsafe, because we're seeing some people that are really unsafe. So like a lot of things come into factor. But yes, 100% to what Luis and B-Dub said, our courses or anything we teach is never exactly the same. Ever, ever, ever.
And there does come a time we never not give the students what we're told we give them. We give them everything that they paid for, 100%. And sometimes there's a time where we have to move on to a more experienced part, and some students might have to leave.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing for
we
students to
we
understand.
are 100% cool with having that conversation with them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yo, dude, like we like you. You need a little bit more help. You need to do a little bit more training before you can move on to this next step.
I think that's a really important lesson for instructors out there to listen to, and knowing when to. When you're providing a service like this and you're trying to provide value, sometimes that value is having that really uncomfortable conversation. I mean, some people might refer to it as like a courageous conversation that you got to go and you got to tell somebody, hey, you're not up to speed here, and that's okay. That's
It is
okay,
okay.
but this isn't appropriate for you. and I want to make it right for you, but I can't do that for you today, or we can't do that for you in this particular environment right now. So while everybody else is doing this, I'm going to have you doing this other thing, and here's how it's going to get you better at doing this. And been to enough courses now where I think people should take that those instructors should probably take that lesson and learn and be okay with it, because here's the thing that's going to happen. One, if you handle that correctly with that student or with that participant, they're going to respect you, right? As long as you handle them respectfully, they're going to respect you. But more than that, everybody else in that class is going to recognize that you handled that student respectively or that participant respectfully, and they're going to appreciate that you're taking a little time so that now you can address their concerns or their needs or the things
And
that
that
they
happens a lot of the times. Some student will leave, and then the rest of the class will be like, "Thank you
Thank
for doing
you for
that.
doing that."
Let's
Yeah.
let's move on."
Yeah.
And not in a bad way. They're just like, "Thanks, like thank you for doing that."
On that too, so there's a very fine line between taking up too many resources on a problem child
Right.
student,
Yeah.
and because what ends up happening is you take away the time that these students paid for you,
Yeah.
and you're sucking all these resources, your other instructors, onto this one problem child, and sometimes you just have to move on.
Yeah,
and
it's about addressing the needs of the many
Of the-
versus
yeah.
addressing the needs of the few. You address those needs of the few, but you don't. That doesn't soak up all your bandwidth.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Right. So
Yeah.
everybody.
I
gets
think
a
we got
bandwidth.
off topic off the original
Well,
question.
I agree with that, but how do you make that better as like a business? like-
which part? I'm sorry.
With everything you just said, I agree with it. But if you have somebody who's flagging people and like
Well,
you can tell that
first
they're
off,
they're
safety
genuinely
is not the business. I'd rather lose money.
No.
100%.
I'm saying that you guys deal with it the way you just said, right?
Right.
So like you have to pull them aside and say like this isn't a class for you, right? So if that's the case, how do you make that right in terms of like a business?
Honestly, and these guys are going to agree with me, money's not everything. Fuck money, dude. I really
Yeah.
don't give a shit. I'd rather put out a quality product and lose money initially.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have to refund this person their money and go, I'm sorry, dude, but this class is not for you at the moment. Let's talk later on. But what you're doing is taking up valuable time for everybody else. We will refund you. We don't care. It's totally fine. And just make sure that, because customer service is a big thing for us. We fuck around and we joke around all the time. All the time. Like we don't take ourselves 100% serious all the time. But the people that follow us, that buy our stuff, that want to come to our courses, like we respect the hell out of them, dude, because it's their money that they're giving us.
Well, they're trusting you.
They're
man.
trusting us. So I would rather, if you came to me and you were not where I wanted you to be and you were unsafe and you were flagging people and you're taking time from everybody else, I'd rather go, hey, JP, I'll tell you what, bro, I don't think this class is for you, man. Like, I will refund you your money. We'll talk. We'll DM. Here's my number. And let's get you to where you need to be. I appreciate
We'll
that
do
you're-
privates.
We'll
Or
do
even
privates
though
if
like,
you have
hey,
to, yeah.
we'll give them an option. Like, I mean, if you're talking about business, like
Yeah,
business
that's
strategies,
what I'm
like,
saying, yeah.
hey, I can either refund you or I can take my personal time, not refund you for the rest of the class, but I will do a private with you,
Right.
one full day of private just with you, and not refund you this class.
We want to do good by the end user at the end of the day.
and we want them to come back.
Yeah.
Of-
But
and-
if you're not there, you're not there. And it has to be like a two-sided coin. Like both of us have to agree
And
that
most
1000%.
conversations
Yeah.
that we've had with those students, they know it was coming. So
And-
Well, they
it's not a-
recognize again. Yeah, they know they suck. You know,
Yeah.
like
Right.
for lack of
Unfortunately.
a better
I suck.
term,
I
like I
suck.
suck at this. Like I'm
I
not
suck,
good. Like
so-
I'm way out of my depth here.
Yep.
And
You
the-
know,
and-
whatever.
and what
They
we're
don't need to
talking
be
about-
Told that.
And sometimes it's a sign of relief for them.
Yeah, like God. Thank
Oh
God.
shit, good.
Yeah.
Thank I don't
Yeah.
have to fucking try to kill myself anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and this is obviously a very rare scenario that we have to do this because, again, back to the business aspect of it, we do our due diligence of trying to mitigate that.
Right.
So we put out a really good course description so people can read it and be like, oh shit, I've
The
never
vetting
done
process
that.
as well.
Right.
I've never even came close to doing that. I don't know how to do this or that. So how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
That's on the individual to say, okay, maybe this course isn't for me.
That 100% agree with you, man. Like there's got to be accountability on both sides, right? Consumers need need to vet their instructors and need to vet the classes or the courses
100%.
they're going to be taking. And I believe the to the best of the ability, given whatever the circumstances for the instructors, they need to be doing the same thing. I
Exactly.
think there is a way to do that efficiently and effectively, no matter what the situation. But again, you're going to always, whenever you're training groups, there's going to be, your top 5%. Then there's going to be that, 20% that's trying to move into that top 5%, and then there's the other 75% of the people,
Yeah.
right?
So let
And,
me
like, where do they
touch on
fall
something
into,
on
where do
that.
they fall into line?
Right.
So this is fine line. So I've gone to courses. These guys have gone to courses, and some of these instructors, they'll dedicate a lot of the time. This is even more predominant in law enforcement. I've seen this.
Ooh,
where the
I love where we're going with
Yeah,
this.
the ranged cadre will focus a lot of time on the problem children. And what ends up happening is the ones that are mediocre or decent don't end up learning anything at all, because a lot
They're
of
just
it,
getting by.
they're just getting by, and they're like, well, I want to learn, but you're focusing all your energy on these problem childs because you have to qualify
gotta pass them.
You got to pass them. You got to qualify them. And then the ones that are really good don't even get anything. They look at the target and they go, hey, good job. And they just walk away. I'm like, I want criticism. I want you to critique me. I want you to tell me what I'm doing good, what I'm doing bad, what I'm like, where can I improve? And you get nothing because they're focusing on that problem child or those problem children, and it becomes like it's fucking rabbit hole. dude.
Look,
Like, it's really bad.
I love where you're going with that. I actually think this is like a whole like podcast topic with regard to, what happens in law enforcement with training and what the public perception is about what law enforcement knows or what they don't know.
You're right. That's hours.
This is a whole other
yeah.
subject matter that it's been completely untouched, and I think we table that for another time.
Let's talk again.
Because
Yeah.
because I think there's a lot of things to cover there that could shed a lot of light on things, and I believe I believe a lot of people in law enforcement would find a lot of value in that. I'd be like, God, this is what I've been fucking saying forever in my mind, not saying it out loud because I don't want to be that person that says what I think,
But I've seen this also in public, like ranges, public courses or open enrollment
A
courses.
total disconnect.
The instructor goes, well, we have problem children over there and we're going to take care of them. And the ones that are decent or mediocre never get anything out of it. And the ones that are like elite or really good, they just get, good job. You
Man,
did good. All right, I'm going to walk away from you.
Yeah, what a metaphor for how a lot of things are going in our country right now, for that matter. So true. So I'm gonna switch topics on you because I'm gonna circle back. This came up earlier, and so the question is why. So it's a why question. Why train? And this is obviously carbine specific or rifle specific. Why train without a sling? So, and let me set this up. Like most people are, if you have a carbine, you have a sling. Why? Because it's basically like a holster for your carbine.
It's 100% a holster
Right?
for
So-
a carbine, yeah.
But why? So if I always have a sling on my rifle, why would I ever train without a sling? What's the value in doing that?
So are you always guaranteed 100% in your life? You could put millions of dollars on the line that from now until you are dead, that you will have not only a sling, but a functional sling that'll never get in your way and you'll never have to ditch it.
So I can answer. Actually, I'm going to answer this question a little bit in a different direction. So the sling that I was running today on my rifle is the same sling I've been running forever. I like it a lot. It's a T-Rex sling. It's been a great sling for me, and I've never had an issue with it ever. I've also never had an issue with the QD pieces that are on there. Right. So it was about, I don't know, JP, one was about a month ago. We were out on the range. And the fucking thing kept getting disconnected, and I thought it was the QD on there. Like I got a faulty QD, I just got to get it replaced. But it happened like 3 or 4 times where it was coming detached, right, at the back end, right, at the buttstock, and I was getting really frustrated because we were running through some movement drills, and I was like, this is really fucking me up. And I was going, and then we were going into transitions. Obviously, that's very problematic. And what I realized was it had nothing to do with the sling. It had nothing to do with the attachments. It was the jacket that I was wearing. I had a jacket. I was wearing our Arc'teryx jacket, right? And it had these little Velcros on it to keep the sleeves tight. And so there's rigidity in the sleeve, and it was coming up, and it was pushing perfectly on that QD release to get that rear QD to release when I was on top of it. It was the most frustrating fucking thing ever, but now I know. And I would have never known had I not trained in that jacket. I wear that jacket when it rains. I hadn't really been out in the rain on the range, but the fact that we'd gone out on the range that day in the rain, I put on this shell, and it was all kinds of fucked up, and it ruined my day out there. But I didn't know, right? So going back to training without a sling, I have a sling, and it works fine. My jacket fucked up that sling.
So what would you have done if you were in a real life
That's the
situation
point.
and this would have happened?
That's the point.
Would you have frozen? Would you have been like, do I hold on to this? What do I do? I'll give you some personal, real life experiences that I've had. One of them at the range, and another one multiple times in law enforcement. There's a lot of cops, so I'll do the law enforcement one. A lot of cops, most of them actually, keep their sling on the carbine inside the police vehicle, but it's usually like crunched up, and then they put a rubber band on it, or they do something where it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
So
there's some kind of retention
it's
system.
some kind of retention system, so it's not flopping away, flopping around inside the shop. I call it a shop. Shop is
Which is a safety issue, but also like a practical issue.
It is. It's all practicality more than anything. And the purpose behind it is when you grab the rifle, you're supposed to take off the retention and then throw on the rifle, right? I've seen multiple cops go code 3 to whatever said
Show up on
location,
scene.
show up on scene, immediately grab the rifle and run out. They don't fucking sling it. Because the first thing they're thinking about is, I got to get to my fucking buddies over there. And what would happen if the carbine stopped working and they didn't sling it? What would you do? Like, what the fuck would you do? And I've seen them, and they're on there, and they're like, oh shit, I forgot to put it on. Because they're like, hey, put on the fucking sling, or whatever. So
now you've got it. So let's say you're in that situation, right? And you've got a malfunction, right? And you're engaged with the threat, and you don't have a sling, or you didn't sling it. So now there's a whole other set of circumstances. There's another problem now you have to solve. There's a puzzle that you have to work through, right, from top to bottom. I think, which is the question, or part of the answer to the question is like, why train without a sling? And
so there's no pause there. You just know what to do because you've done it multiple times.
Right.
Versus, I saw you today at the range. No, it was you. Because you don't train concealed with carbine much. You probably do, but not much.
not without a sling anyway.
And you paused and you went, what do I do? What do I do? Oh shit, yeah, okay. It took you a while to process.
Yeah.
Now, in real life, that's what's going to happen. It's going to take you a while to process because, well, that's my rifle, or I have to do this, or this is what I'm trained to do. So, real life situations is not the time to train things.
Right.
You should already know how to fucking do things.
Right.
Now, how often is that going to happen? It's rare.
Hopefully never.
Hopefully I never have to do that. Yeah, but I've seen it. Another example on the range. Somebody showed up to one of our courses, did not have a sling.
Just left it
They're
at
like,
home
"Fuck,
or
I
whatever.
forgot it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, bro. Here, borrow mine." I knew how to transition from carbine to handgun because I've trained it.
Okay, so that's a different type of situation, but practical nonetheless.
It's a practical
You
situation.
just forget it.
Yeah.
You forget it.
Yeah.
You
Slings
forget
are
it.
slings are great. I have mine.
When they work.
No, I have mine, but
I have multiple slings.
It's meant to carry my gun,
Right.
It's multiple
not to work with my gun. But
Yeah, so I've had, so your sling, the tightness of it, right? You can make it tight, you can make it loose, right? So, I mean, you're adjusting that depending on the activity you're partaking in with carbine. You're adjusting that sometimes a lot, sometimes not at all. So I've had my sling get in the way of my reload. I have jammed my sling into my mag well with the magazine I'm reloading with. I've done that. I've went to hit my paddle to send my working parts forward, and my sling was in the way. It either blocked me or I had to purposely move my thumb around the sling to hit the paddle. When you're transferring the carbine from right shoulder to left
yeah,
and
offset.
left to right, it's a goddamn nightmare to navigate the sling.
Especially if you're wearing a chest rig or there's things that, you know,
Yep.
or plates.
Now, if you have to take your sling on or off with the helmet and nods that are in the up position or the down position, now you have to let it all the way loose, and it gets hooked on like your battery pack in the back or antennas you got. This is more of like a military application, or it gets caught on. It's designed to carry your carbine. Train with it, train without it. Know what it's good for, know what it's not. Is it great for climbing a ladder to fucking get Overwatch on a
Sure.
wall? Fuck yes.
Right.
Is it great for throwing on your back, making it tight? You can drag a buddy with two hands? Absolutely. Is it good for running through a small Afghani built house where you're constantly switching shoulders because of your angles of your
Maybe
hallways?
not.
Maybe not.
Right.
So have one, know how to do everything with it and everything without it.
So don't be dependent
But
on
do
it.
100%. That's the best summary I can think of right there.
The other
Yeah.
thing too you got to think about is, so think about high frequency events and low frequency events, right? So what's a high frequency event?
Exactly. Like expand on that.
So a high frequency event would be your gun stops working because of a malfunction.
Yeah, this shit happens.
It happened to me at the range.
guaranteed to happen.
How many fucking times today?
Yeah, Murphy was on your shoulder.
It
all
was
day.
fucking me in the ass
Straight up.
dude, today. I have the look from the
Oh,
reload
damn,
from
look at
the
that,
malfunctions today.
Oh,
I was
yeah, you were
slapping the
working
shit.
hard.
I was
Yeah.
working hard.
I remember my first boo boo.
I do. I know. I remember my first
Medic.
malfunction. So high frequency shit, low frequency shit. One thing that kind of teased me off, I don't see too many people working from the seated position. I don't see too many people teaching proper.
You mean like
mount-
in a car or sitting at a table in a chair?
it's just seated in general. How much time do you spend seated in your day?
Too much.
Too much.
Yeah, I just
right?
asked my hips.
How
and
many?
my back.
How much time do you spend on the range training seated positions?
0.
Let me ask you this.
Tomorrow we
Where
will.
tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The frequency at which physical altercations end up on the ground, what's the percentage if you had to put a number on it?
I'm going to say 98%.
End
if
up on the
you're
ground.
staying in the fight.
Okay,
Right.
end up in the ground, right?
Right.
How many times do you train at the range shooting from your back, from the supine, from a guard position?
Have I done it? Yes.
I didn't ask that.
Frequently, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So high frequency training, low frequency training. So a lot of instructors teach, or a lot of courses teach, let's do the reload. Let's fucking do the fastest reload. Let's do the fastest draw from the
On
conceal.
the timer, yeah.
How high frequency is you going Winchester on a gun? I'm not saying don't train a reload fast. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't waste your time doing just reloads.
Yeah.
Do more high frequency shit. I've seen, if you look up like law enforcement uses of force or OISs, most OISs either happen from their vehicle, or they happen on the ground, or right after a fight, or they happen in close proximity. But you don't train retention shooting, compression shooting, shooting from the seated position, seated, shooting from a supine or on your back. You just don't do it because, it's a safety issue. It's
Right.
scary. Hey, I'd rather you get accurate, just shooting.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do that.
Can I
Like,
get
oh,
you to
shit.
talk like that
all the time?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I kind of derailed, but we were talking about
No, we were talking about slings and when to and when not to train with them.
So back on the sling.
Do both.
I'm not saying you better start doing half of your transitions from non-sling. What I'm saying is know how to do it, be proficient with it, but don't waste your time with it either. So a lot of people ask me, you don't own a sling. You don't use slings. No, fuck you. I do use slings, and I own multiple slings, but that's a high frequency thing. So I want to train something that I'm not good at.
Right.
And then now that I'm good at it, or that I'm decent at it, now I'll spend time doing high frequency event type shit.
Yeah, I love that. So there's a balance, and you're being practical about what you're doing.
I'm
You're going
trying
out
to.
there. Yeah,
Trying to.
yeah, got you.
All right, well, we got like 8 people on the live.
Sweet.
Yeah, but
my,
he has
my
more.
my live just died. That's why I've been on my phone.
No, you're
Yeah,
good.
it's all good.
Next question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So let's go.
Bring me
So
one.
let's move
No,
on
we
because
can't
this
be on
was.
the couch.
I think this one's been like a hot topic, and it has to do with low light or no light, and that is like what's important. But let's go like preferred lumens. Like when we're getting into that, like the details on the lighting that we're using. I guess like there's a lot of noise going on right now about what's
I'm going to start, and
important.
then I'm going to let Luis finish.
Lumens,
I don't wanna
candela, what's important, what isn't.
Yeah, you'll finish.
Like,
Okay.
can we address this situation?
Sure, we could address
or
it.
this
And
situation
there's
right now?
there's kind of a wrong answer, but there's no 100%. Like it has to be 69 lumens. That's my favorite number, by the way.
I get this about you, Gary. It's only
So-
been a day, but I got this.
So is there such thing as too much lumens? Yes, there is. In my opinion, there is. The other thing is, you guys shot today in low light, no light conditions, and you guys are still very accurate on target, right? So did you need light? Did you need light?
No. I
Did you
didn't-
want light?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
mean,
did you need light?
no.
You did not.
No.
So you had how many lumens? You had 0. You had no fucking light. You had the moonlight, is what you had.
And it was enough.
It was enough to get combat accuracy rounds on target. Everything
Yeah.
was in center mass.
5 to 7 yards.
Yeah, 5 to 7 yards. Okay, cool. Totally get it. So with flashlights, with handheld lights specifically, because we love dealing with handheld lights. Like that's our fucking jam. That's our bread and butter. There is a such thing as too much spill. There is too much lumen. Most of the time that you're going to deal with, well, a lot of the time that you're going to deal with any kind of situation where you have to use a handheld light, you're probably going to be indoors, and that
You're in a tight
situation. And if you're dealing with too much lumen, it's just going to bounce
It
right
just
back
washes
at you.
back
It
out.
washes right back at
Right
you.
onto your red dot.
Yeah, red dot. You're dealing with any kind of team environment stuff. If you're and B-Dub will talk about this one a lot more. If you're dealing with team members and you start backlighting them, like it becomes a problem, man. It really becomes a problem.
So is there like a right number, like, or is it really just dependent on like what's this going on? Are we talking CQB? Are we talking-
My general rule of thumb is enough light to see what you're doing.
That's very broad, man.
Yes, because there is no exact specified number.
So don't even pay attention to that. It ends up being like, what is the application? What is your particular situation? And I mean, how do you respond to a certain amount of light?
So check this out. Yesterday or the day before, you're familiar with Mike Levy, right?
Yeah.
Knockout Lights.
Yeah.
He got sent a head cap for a flashlight that fits the X300 or the X600, I believe.
Okay.
And he just posted about it recently on his Instagram. So what this modification does is it creates the hot spot. It makes the hot spot a lot more precise, and you could actually throw it out
So
further.
it doesn't give you as much flood.
There's zero spill.
Right,
Like
gotcha.
almost zero spill. So he did a demo, and he had his X600 with enough offset from the window so that you're not hugging the window. And then he turned on his X600 to illuminate a target that was 250 yards away.
It's a long way away.
It's a long ways away, but again, it's very specific application. You couldn't see the target, and he was backlighting himself inside the building. He changed the cap or the head, and what the head did was it made the hot spot a lot more precise. It shot it out to about 250 yards, and there was minimal spill, like almost no spill. But he was able to see the target. But again, that's a very like niche, specific application. Correct. Me personally, I don't want too much spill, but I do want some to be able to see what's to the left, to the right, and beyond. But I don't want something that's going to bounce back at me. I don't want something that's 1,000 lumens.
Yeah, so if you strap, so go back to Mike and Knockout Lights, right? So if you strap that light onto your your home defense rifle, right? And you take that into your living room, it's overkill.
It's overkill, 100%.
It's way too much. So
Yeah.
my takeaway from that answer is there is no right answer.
There isn't.
There's a million different applications, and there is not going to be a right answer. And if you want to get into the debate, yeah, it can be a fun debate. We can talk about it all day long, but nobody's right at the end of the day.
So I guess at the end answer for me is, what do you do for a living, and what is your application for a flashlight? For me, working in executive protection, working law enforcement, sometimes I have to deal with buildings, sometimes I have to deal with outside. So I don't want something that's going to bounce back at me. I don't want something that's super precise.
Right.
I don't want so there has to be a happy medium for me for what I do.
So train with the stuff, figure out what's going to work.
Figure out what's going to work for you. Yeah. It's like flashlights are so taboo, dude. So like I don't even rock a weapon mounted light concealed, but you do.
I noticed that.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't been since like 4 months now.
Okay. I know dudes that have the 1,000 lumen, surefire weapon mounted light concealed, and then they have a 3-cell battery flashlight in their, tactical pocket, and they want to light up fucking Times Square. I'm like, okay, have you actually gone into your room and turned those lights on?
Right.
Like it's not gonna be practical.
Cool out on the range, but now you're in
Maybe,
your living
yeah,
room.
maybe,
Yeah, I'm in
and
this
even then
weird
you're gonna
place.
blind your fucking partners to the left
Yeah,
and right of
dude.
you.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna wash out everything.
I'm in a weird place right now because I've been doing no weapon light concealed. I've been doing just a bare gun, and then keeping a mod light with the thim ring.
Okay.
But I also been keeping like a X300A, the quick detach,
Yeah.
like with me, like either in my car or in my work bag or whatever. And the reason for that is if I do like outside the waistband belt, it's like, I remember you told me this like a couple months ago, then I'll slap that on and that'll be outside the waistband.
Yeah.
But also not only is it a backup light, but the manipulations are just like your Haley, where I can press down and use like the sides. And it's less crazy than the mod light. The mod light's just fucking crazy.
It's powerful.
Yeah. And like I was talking about earlier, like it's more of like something to disorient you rather than me searching with it.
Okay. And what's more high frequency, that you're gonna shoot somebody with a flashlight, or you're gonna search things with a flashlight?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's the latter.
Are you gonna use your weapon mounted light to search for shit
You
in
better not
public,
be. You better
or
not
to
be.
change your tire, or? And it's funny I say that because I've seen people
Fucking idiots.
that
Idiots.
use their weapon mounted lights
write tickets.
to do things, and I'm like, weapon mounted light is not for searching. It's like this should be your tool for searching. But what's your take on flashlights and candela and lumens and spill, pitch, blah blah blah?
I mean, man, I really don't want to repeat anything because we have other stuff to get to. I agree with everything everyone's saying. So. Wow. I mean, like, I'm just gonna.
I
repeat
think he was
every-
expecting you to be like, well, in my experience, but
I'm just gonna repeat everything. I mean,
yeah, but
like,
I think that I know I've
there's
talked to you guys
definitely
about
too
this
much.
before.
There's
so.
definitely too little. Like, you got to find that happy balance. If it's
So
on
like
your
an
car-
iPhone isn't enough for me, but all the shit that's coming out that everybody loves, it's like 800 to whatever 1,200,000 lumens is way too much.
Yeah.
Like even tonight when we were out there, dude, I'm like pointing it. I'm just like, dude, this is awesome for seeing that mountain, and this is terrible for looking at my hits on paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely valid.
but yeah.
All right, guys. I mean, we covered the majority of the questions. I don't think anybody wants to know how to grow a beard, which was one of the questions. So you guys can keep that one.
I
to
can't grow a
yourselves for
beard.
now.
Luis can't grow any facial hair.
Yeah.
Gang.
He doesn't even have pubes, dude. I mean, fuck. I trust me, I've seen.
So I think some of the stuff that actually got asked, like, I think we should expand on. I don't think like this is like the right forum, if I'm being honest, because we've already covered a couple topics that I think we can probably go a little deeper in. But I appreciate the day from you guys, and
Let's go to the bar.
Yeah, it's time to cut it off. Just thank everybody for joining tonight that hung in there and stayed
Hell yeah.
on, and fucking great.
We're gonna do official podcast.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
look out for the podcast, which will be out probably. I mean, we'll record tomorrow. Usually takes us about a week and a half to kind of get those up, once we get it all done. But tons of content over the last, over today, and we'll have 2 more days of that, right? Which so much knowledge transfer that we've gotten from you guys, and there's going to be so much good content. It's going to be really hard.
All
to
that
figure
workout
out.
stuff you taught us this morning. Oh,
Yeah,
He was there to learn.
So there's that, but
A little about tomorrow. For the most part, B-Dub's going to be running the whole thing.
Yeah,
He is the subject matter expert for us pertaining to CQB. And we're just going to defer to him, and he's going to tell us what to do.
yeah, I cannot wait. I think there's going to be so much value in that. I mean, the value to be extracted from today is going to take me some time. I'm a processor, so I'm going to have to sit back, write some things down. I'm going to have some questions to fire back at you guys.
100%.
But I think just in terms of setting up like the next couple of days and the things that are going on here, like there's going to be so much content to put out there. We're going to really be challenged to put it together in a way where people can go and access it and kind of see some stuff and really get a really good insight to what you guys are doing as a team, right? And as a company. I mean, we had a few minutes out there where I was like, this information is so dense. Like it's like drinking from a fire hose. And
We use that term.
And a lot of it is very fundamental information that's just coming across in a different way. Some of it I've heard, but not in the way that it was presented today. And also some of it I heard, I'm having to take the context out of how it was being applied and going, wow. So that is very different, but at the same time, it's almost very much the same as what I've heard. But again, it's all in the situation that we're dealing in. And so again, or dealing with at that time. And then we were peppering you guys with questions. You guys are being really great about all that. So I think for people that love you guys and the information that they're getting, or that they know they've gotten from you in the past, or for us who have maybe gotten some of it in the past and are hearing it now again, we're going to really sit back, or want to sit back and be able to provide this stuff to your fans and the people that are following you, and maybe people that haven't been following you, so that they can get it in a way that they can drink from a fire hose from a little bit, and then maybe know where to go, maybe know where to get it.
And
from there.
to add to what Jerry was saying about tomorrow, my disclaimer: there's 100 ways to skin a cat. CQB is one of the most, like, firearms training in general is controversial. CQB times 100 controversial.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm teaching from a specific background,
Sure.
which is drastically different from Tier 1, law enforcement, SWAT. The list goes on.
Do you quickly want to talk what your background is and
No,
how
we'll
it's
do that
applicable,
tomorrow.
or we could do that
We'll do that
tomorrow?
Tomorrow on the
Okay.
podcast. Let's
Bam.
do that tomorrow on the
Bam.
podcast, and then save it
Yeah,
for
Jerry
everybody,
talks
because
for 40
I
minutes.
think that
Well, it's
provides
about him.
context to what they're going to see in terms of snippets, and then what we can put together on maybe some of the long form stuff.
Also, a question I've been presented with is, why would, like, say I'm completely out of the military, Luis is,
Yeah, why would a civilian want to know how to do any of that stuff? Why am I interested?
Scott's reading my mind.
Yeah, man. There's a million reasons why I'm interested in learning it.
100%, a million reasons. First one that comes to my head, and I keep referencing this, I've already done it a few times today, is like, so I have a 6-month-old baby and I have a 4-year-old. And man, dude, that changed. JP and I talked. We started going down this, and I was like, well, we need to stop because this needs to be recorded. Like,
Yeah,
we started going down this
mindset.
rabbit trail about physical fitness and how my mindset has changed from my 20s to my 30s, just in maturity. Not that that was much. And then once I had a kid, and then I had a second kid, like, holy shit. Like, my purpose for doing a lot of things has shifted. So back to the CQB thing. Like, everybody has their reason to train X, Y, and Z. So, like, have your reason to train CQB and then fucking own it and get good at that one thing. Because, I mean, everybody lives in a house that has rooms and stairwells and things that you need to be able to
Corners,
navigate
doorways,
if there's somebody downstairs with a gun trying to kill your family.
Right.
So, I mean, it's applicable in a million avenues. But, yeah, you read my mind on that.
I'm
that
stoked.
one. That was-
I can't wait.
yeah.
Same, dude.
Yeah.
JP and I have been talking about this for weeks. I can't
it's
wait.
gonna
I
be dope.
appreciate you guys.
It's going to be another fire hose.
It's
So.
gonna be dope. We'll wrap this
what she
bad
said.
boy up.
Righto.
All right. I just want to say thanks to Chris and NRG for letting us fucking chill in this
Yeah, this
sick
is
ass little
great.
lounge.
Chris carries 3
love the
cell
purple.
phones. You know he's important.
He's very important, yeah.
He is
out.
constantly on the phone.
Hey,
But again,
Luis,
thank-
what is NRG?
NRG is just NRG. We'll talk
Oh,
about that
okay.
tomorrow
All
on the
right,
cool.
podcast.
All right.
Hell yeah.
We'll
We'll
talk
see you
about
guys
it.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Adios.
See you guys.
To the bar.
Yes.